I agree.
So, yeah. Yeah, so we wait some seconds or some minutes if more people would like to join. And then we can start in a couple of minutes. No, 3 to 4 minutes we can start. So Paolo, how is the weather today?
What? Sorry?
How is the weather today in your city?
Today is sunny, very
Sunny.
about 25 degrees Celsius.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
No, in Germany starts autumn now. It's 8 or 9 degrees.
Oh,
The good time is over.
Cold.
Yeah, no, it's not really, it's getting cold, but now it's starting already, no?
Starting, né?
Yeah.
In Brazil, we are starting spring. 20 days ago, we started spring.
Yeah, spring, yeah.
Spring.
So I will come to Brazil end of November.
It will be hot. In Belo Horizonte.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So let's wait a couple of minutes, 2 minutes more, and then we can start. Another one is going to enter, Simon Wagner. So you know, punctuality is very important in Germany. It's not so much important if you have a good present, but you must be on time. So when you got invited, the highest priority in Germany is to be on time.
Yes.
This is triggered in schooling system, at work, everywhere. Everywhere they treat you to be on time in Germany. The parents, the grandma, the schools, the university. I even had a professor in the university, and he closes the door exactly when the lesson starts. And then he opens it 30 minutes, and then half of the students arrived. So 200 people then come into after half an hour because he closed the door. No, it's something like very, very, very important in Germany. Okay, yeah. So I think that we can start. We have a couple of people here. Let me check how many. Seven at least. And yeah, today is about a session on global leadership mindset development program. So this is something which we have initiated, and the next cohort will start approximately in January with different schools. But today I would like to talk a little bit about the background information, a little bit about the research, a little bit what is the program about, and perhaps some of you would like to join the program. Now, so first of all, when we take a look at the topic of global mindset, the topic exists roughly for 10 to 15 years. And a lot has been done the last years, but global mindset seems to be one of the success factors when you send somebody abroad, like an expatriate, when you have some kind of mergers and acquisitions. And on the other side, it is also about that some people must have a global mindset in different positions. Now, so and today we will talk about but how to acquire it, how to develop it, and which skills or competencies might be more important in different business functions. And this is what we found with a lot of surveys and a lot of research on checking. But at the end, international business is people business. So we might have a good product, we might have a good service, but at the end, we just need to look at that two people are negotiating, and also about if it is for both parties some kind of win-win situation. So win-win situation could be a character or a property of, for example, a global mindset, but we found more than only having a win-win situation. So the point is that there are different definitions of a global mindset. But our understanding is that something like a global mindset means to be quite effective in this global local dilemma. So each business function, if it is human resource or marketing or finance or supply chain, has some parts where we need to locally adapt, and in some other parts which are more easily to standardize. So when we pick out, for example, marketing, and some of you might know the 4 Ps: product, price, place, promotion. For example, when we take luxury goods, then we can see that the pricing could be more standardized. So when you look for a Louis Vuitton bag, perhaps in my hometown here in Düsseldorf, or look in Sao Paulo when you are buying the original, or when you're going to Hong Kong, this is something you can look at in the internet. You can compare prices. On the other side, when we look at prices, we have also the so-called purchasing power parity. So how much value has the dollar or the real or the euro? And for example, we also have differences in Europe, like when you look at Bulgaria, for example, they have a minimum working hour, roughly 5 or 6 euros, but in Germany we have 12 to 13 euros minimum payment per hour. So the value of money is different. Also, the pricing is different. I mean, this is clear, but let's go back to this 4P: product, price, place, promotion. So for example, also Coca-Cola, like a product which everybody knows, there might be the pricing a lot of differences. When you look at how to buy 1 liter Coca-Cola Coke in Germany or 1 liter in Brazil, so there is, for example, a difference. When we look at the product, there are also some minor adaptations of the product. So the sweetness of Coca-Cola is not similar everywhere. You might think, Coca-Cola is the same in the United States as in Germany. No, it's not the same. So the product is also more adapted. And then we have, for example, the place or the promotion. For example, promotion, when we look at the football World Cup or anything that you can see, we have local players here in Germany. We have Neymar from Brazil. So there are also differences in how we look at global, local. I only have shown it to you in the marketing area, but we have also in HR and in some others. So the point is that the global mindset can be measured or can be developed also at the individual level. So for example, sometimes you have a new CEO. For example, look at the company of Adidas. So Adidas has the CEO, Kaspar Röhrstedt. He also was CEO before of Henkel. So they're doing washing powders and glues, but he's Danish. He's not German. So sometimes we bring in, or also perhaps in some other countries, we bring in people from outside. I mean, when you look at the Fortune 500, I think you have roughly 90% of the companies coming from the United States are US citizens. So the point is, if a company can acquire a global mindset when they are only local people and even in the top management team. On the other side, the global mindset can also be implemented at the group level or top management team. Sometimes you have top management team diversity. So you have a boss or the CEO from Germany, the head of marketing you have from Scandinavian countries, another one you have from China. So this is also relevant in a lot of companies to have diversity in the management board. And on the other side, you can implement or cultivate a global mindset at the organizational level. So you have 3 levels: individual, group, or top management team, and at the organizational level. What we are going to do or to talk about today is about the individual level. So we talk about how can you acquire a global mindset. I mean, you can even Google it here simultaneously. How many positions you can see in your country which highlight we need somebody with a global mindset. But what is a global mindset? And what is if somebody has not a global mindset? Does it mean if somebody has done international assignments, being in Sao Paulo, eating German food in Sao Paulo, being in in one of those places to have Oktoberfest festivals, and you can even find a lot of Germans and you only speak German in Brazil, but do you have acquired a global mindset or not? Or do you need to be in different locations, talked with locals and some others? Some other people can even perhaps build up a global mindset staying at home. But there are a lot of factors. It could be personality factors, like the ocean factors, the big fives. So there are a lot of different situations when you talk about the global mindset or not, and how you can increase it. And thus, everybody needs a global mindset in the company. So is it good to have some secretaries having a global mindset when you enter the building, or is it only for salespeople or perhaps for HR people? So who needs a global mindset, and in what kind of value? A higher value in sales or lower value in procurement or any other? So this is something which we have looked about and where we have some kind of results. So you have the CEO, the individual level, you have the group level, or you have the organizational level. So for example, when we take a look at Henkel, the company which is located in my hometown here in Düsseldorf, they have a so-called 222 approach. So what are they going to do? What does 222 means? It's not originally from Henkel, but they are following it. So it means that if you would like to make a career in this company, you must have at least work experiences in 2 countries outside the home country. So like, for example, you have work experiences in Hungary or in Brazil and Germany, and then they say, okay, this is one of the 222. The second one is you must have at least work experiences also in 2 different business functions, like working in marketing or working in procurement, or you must have some experience in finance. So 2 of them you must have. And on the other side, the third one is you must have different work experiences with different products, like washing powder and glues. And when you have these 222, then you are on the list in order to look, could you be a middle manager or getting a top manager? But these are some of the criteria. And I think that some of you participating today also have this kind of criteria. So they want flexible people with a growth mindset or with a global mindset, and just to look at, is this person good? So when you only have worked in the headquarters, you also don't know how the world looks like in some of these subsidiaries. On the other side, how to establish or cultivate a global mindset at the organizational level. So some companies are even doing job rotation, or they say this chief financial officer is in the headquarters in Germany, and the chief marketing officer is located in Italy, and one of the others is located also in different countries. And what are they doing? They said, okay, we have a meeting of finance manager, but we are not always in Germany. The next year we are in this subsidiary in Italy. The next one we are in Bulgaria the week after. So not everything is centered on the headquarters. And this is something which is very important, that people also visibly see the environment of the colleagues, and not only saying, okay, in Germany it's nice, but there are also different other places to go. And when there are a lot of subsidiaries, it's always good to go to others. And this is where marketing people meet, in different places of the world. This is where all of the others. So these are only one or two examples of, it is a little bit of overlapping like you have seen individual organizational level, but this is something which I would like to mention. So if you would like to get more information of how to cultivate a global mindset at the organization corporate level, we need to arrange a different meeting. Okay, so there are different conditions when you talk about the global mindset. Here are three of them, like an openness. On the other side, you must know that parts are different, and at the end, you need to integrate specific markets and cultures that you said, okay. I mean, you can see it like companies are doing it. They are doing this EMEA region or doing a Pacific area, or having this Mercosur area, like in South America, where you have different consumer behaviors, which might be not equal, but they are slightly different, or a lot of similarity between these markets. Otherwise, the companies wouldn't do it. I think EMEA is only one, and there are 25 or 26 of these different regions. Now, for example, in Germany, we have the so-called DACH region. This is D for Germany, Deutschland, A for Austria, CH for Switzerland. So this is also a very small one. So when you asked me, what do you understand by having a global mindset, or does somebody has a global mindset? So the point is that there are two things which are important. So when you are head of HR and you have different people on your at your desk, no? so around the desk, and then you would like to ask each of this person, okay, so what is your idea, or what do you think about the strategy which I have announced? So first of all, you ask each person. This is called the differentiation. No? So you get a different perspective when you ask each at the table. And on the other side, the second part, which is relevant, is called integration. So as a head of HR, you must make a decision, but you also have received different opinions, different viewpoints, which perhaps you don't know if you haven't asked. No? So international business is about asking questions. This is what I'm always talking to my international business students, because you don't know, the context is different, and which you need to understand. So you need to understand the context. Some people also talk about contextual intelligence in this matter. But the point is to differentiate and to integrate. And in the literature, this is called cognitive complexity. So people with a global mindset must have a high level of cognitive complexity. So in the last year, I've interviewed roughly 90 managers organizing global leadership programs. There were people from Siemens, from Bayer. So I focused on German multinational players. And the point is that, for example, the German Telecom, I think they have 250,000 employees worldwide. So it's one of the biggest company in Germany. They have, for their global leaders, two different kind of tracks. And one is cognitive complexity, and the other one is emotional intelligence. And this is what they are providing for the top leaders in a program which might take 12 or 18 months. So it depends on the level of work which they have, but a lot of them are doing this programs. So in order to establish a global leadership program, it's relevant to look at, okay, but what kind of global competencies do we need? And where do these competencies come from? I mean, there are a lot of companies giving you a different list of competencies which might be relevant, but at the end, you always need to look, is this relevant for my company or not? And this is something what we checked. So we checked the literature on global mindset and how do these global mindset competencies correlate with global leadership. So the name of this presentation today is a global leadership mindset development program. So we believe that the global mindset is a success factor, but how to acquire it, how to develop it, and this is something which I'm going to talk to you in the next couple of minutes. So the point is that here are some of these success factors. I mean, you can also take a look at later. I'm going to record the session. If somebody would like to receive the slides, you can have a look at this presentation and then take a look at what was most relevant, and you can write me an email if you have any questions. So the most important thing to develop a global mindset is to get to know, where do you come from? What kind of education system have you received? So for example, when I'm taking this to my person, so I mean, I'm grown up in Germany here, quite in a rich area, in an area which is very open-minded. In Düsseldorf, Cologne are very open-minded cities in Germany. My kindergarten was already multicultural, people from Turkey, from Greece, from Italy. My school was very, very multicultural. Then I did my master studies in Essen, a city which is a little bit bigger than this one, also very multicultural, a very big community of Turkish people. Then I went over to Dublin. I did my PhD in Austria, and my wife is Brazilian and Black. So this is my journey. This is something which is relevant to get to know. Now I have a lot of German roots, like punctuality. This is inside me. We talked a little bit in the beginning when you were not inside the meeting. But I also know that there are cultural differences between Brazil and Germany, between Austria and Germany. I mean, these are neighboring countries, but sometimes completely different. And also the point in Dublin, I mean, I studied there for 1 year. So I also gained a little bit of experiences in cross-cultural differences. So the point is that the articulation of current mindset is the most important thing in order to develop or in order to get to know. So when you know where are you coming from, education system, how much did culture determine your behavior? How do you make sense of informations? How do you interpret things? So this is very important to get to know. And this you mostly will get to know when you're crossing borders. That punctuality is not always important. And sometimes it could even be rude, like in Mexico and some others, in order to treat other people to be on time. So, but this is one thing which is really relevant, the articulation of current mindsets. The other thing is that people normally choose a job where they know it is going or it is internationally active. So people are curious about to apply for big players or not, but the curiosity is inside us, and perhaps we self-select the job normally to say, okay, this could be good for me. So the curiosity is, in this case, the meal in order to look at different countries. On the other side, it's sometimes important to get out of your comfort zone. So this exposure to diversity and novelty is something like we said, okay, Brazil. Okay, so I experienced Brazil. Being in Sao Paulo, getting to know that a lot of people in Sao Paulo told me, don't trust people from Rio de Janeiro. So 3 or 4 people, I have never asked them about Rio, but they said it to themselves. Okay, that you see, okay, there are some ressentiments. Even in my hometown, there are ressentiments with Cologne and Düsseldorf. But on the other side, you can see that also Brazil has 28 states, and even in the Northeast, it's completely different than in the South, which might be perhaps a little bit of not German oriented, but with German roots. So, and this is something which you might get to know, that you're not saying the Brazilian is something like this. No, you must say a person from Bahia is different than a person from Sao Paulo, a Paulista, or from Carioca, from Rio de Janeiro. So this is something we need to experience. On the other side, when you are a manager, it's also relevant to get to know, you must integrate some kind of new knowledge. What is also very relevant is how to trust people. And we will talk about this also later, because trust is also deeply embedded in our cultural roots. So Brazilians do not even trust their neighbors or to a minimum of 20 or 30%. And when you go to Norway, the trust level is something like even 90%. So the point is, and when you have a global team with different people from different countries, it's even very difficult to say how to trust somebody. In Germany, you trust somebody when you are delivering results, when you communicate clearly, when you're doing a good job. So it's job-oriented, work-oriented, task-oriented. In Brazil, the trust starts when you, for example, going home in the evening after work, and then one of your colleagues calls you and said, hey, I have some problems with my car. Could you help me? And then in Brazil, it would be a no-go to say, sorry, I don't have time, because this is more relationship-oriented. This is more like getting invited for a barbecue, churrasco. This is something like spending time together, even in the evening. No, the Germans would say, okay, we meet tomorrow morning. Sorry, this evening, I don't have time. Please call some of the agencies. They will pick you up. But now I have my kids at home. Sorry, I cannot help you. So this is how trust is built. And this is very relevant to get to know. I mean, I can even give you more things of Arabian and Chinese and Japanese, but this is now relevant now. The point is, for example, trust is one of the most relevant competencies, and which is universal, even if you work in marketing or finance or any others. So the point is, what did we do? So we checked the literature, and we checked the literature on global mindset, global leadership, and we checked which of it is relevant in order to establish, in order to develop. So we classified them into which of these competences are related to cognitive, to emotional, and perhaps also for behavioral. I think somebody has still the loudspeaker on. I don't know which one. Gabriel?
Aí ele apertou o cara lá, não sei o que o cara falou, minha filha ficou sabendo.
Anybody has the...
Sylvia?
So Sylvia has the loudspeaker on, no?
Yes, it's Sylvia.
So let me check it. So that I can... Okay, but now I think she deleted, no? Okay, okay. So the point is that, I mean, you know, when you have intercultural training, so this was already 30 years ago that you must have components within cognitive, affective, emotional, and behavioral parts. Now, so this is nothing new. Now, but when you look for people who have a global leadership position, you also need to look at, okay, what about leading global virtual teams? What about global talent management? And on the other side, we need to look at self-management levels like work-life balance, energy, stress management, self-awareness, self-efficacy, and all of it. And on the other side, we checked cultural competencies are also relevant. So in total, we had roughly 85 skills. So only look here from A to F level because we also have done some further like digital mindset and some of the new parts. So if you would like to look at different surveys, different results, which of the competencies are most relevant in procurement and marketing, you can have a look at these kind of links. Okay, so what did we check exactly? So when I'm going a little bit more into depth, so we have found that these 85 competences correlate between global mindset and global leadership. So, but nobody needs 85 competences, which you will see also in a couple of minutes. So the point is that we ask people, managers, which of those skills are relevant in your job, in your position, out of these 85. So we ask HR managers, we ask marketing managers, procurement, supply chain, and so on, and many more, finance, controlling. And then what we found is that we just saw that in HR, so here's written down top 10, but I only wanted to highlight you some of them. But in HR, building trust is one which is very, very relevant, but building trust is also relevant in procurement and in marketing. Like I said, building trust is a universal competence, which everybody needs in different business functions. So we checked a top 10 list for HR, for procurement, for marketing, out of this 85. So which of them are more related to marketing? I mean, customer orientation. I mean, it's clear that this is relevant. Networking, also listening. I mean, in marketing, you also need to listen to your client. Some of them are clear, but this was only the first step, what we did. So what else did we do? We could extract from 28 positions in HR, 16 we could extract on a top 10 list. Here is the Chief Human Resource Officer, Director HR, Global HR Business Partner, and many more. So 16 in HR. In marketing, it was, I think, 19 or 20. No, not, I think more than 20, 21, 22. In finance, we extracted. So this is on a position. I will show it to you later when I finish this one here about what positions we have. So the point is that we also checked which of those competences, 85 competences, are relevant in different positions on a different level, like somebody starting a job in HR or having less work experiences, 3 to 5 years, HR business partner, global mobility manager, HR IT. We also checked which of those competences are relevant for middle managers and for top managers. So the point is what we found. So the highest value would be 5.0. So we found that in the entry level, especially cognitive competencies are relevant and self-management and emotional. So why are we going to do that? Because we say that sometimes people are coming together in leadership trainings which have different competencies to look at. So the point is that, okay, so no problem with the microphone. So the point is that, that normally we have leadership trainings that we put marketing managers with finance managers with marketing together on a lower level, on a medium level, also middle managers or top managers. But sometimes this doesn't make sense because they have they have different competencies to focus on. So I'm not going through everything here, but I'm telling you, look at, for example, the senior level, the C level. So, and here there's something which is very relevant and which are the emotional competencies. Now, I mean, I told you, for example, that German Telekom is going for the top leaders on emotional intelligence training and on cognitive complexity. So emotional intelligence is very important, but it doesn't make sense to train somebody at the lower level with emotional intelligence because the people are not leading anybody. I mean, it's good to have this competence. I mean, for me, it is mandatory, but I'm talking about where to spend money in order that the leadership training could be more efficient. So when we take a look at, for example, also at salespersons, we have similar results in the lower level. I mean, here we put in another one, the junior and medium level are the lower level similar to the HR, but here we have self-management, a little bit of emotional and cognitive. So this is similar to HR. And when we look at this top management, the executives, the C levels in marketing, we also see that emotional and self-management are more relevant. So this could also be, or this also be similar. In the middle manager position, there's a difference, but this would be too complex to talk about. I mean, we can even look at, as you have seen, for emotional competencies, we have asked roughly 12 or 13 competencies. We can even look at which of them are more relevant. Not only saying the whole level is relevant, but which of them is relevant in specific business functions. And the same we did for finance and controlling in order to check where do we need which kind of competencies. So we have 6 levels. So the point is that a lot of companies, they also follow this lead yourself, leading others. So first time you are a leader, then lead the function or lead the organization. So we can even provide with our learning platform a top 10 or top 8 or however, how much these are. I mean, you can see it sometimes there, that we can even train people in that. So how does our approach function? So we have a learning platform, and in the learning platform, everybody receive his or her learning journey. So let me just open shortly this the other file, but I will return to this. So so when we take a look at, for example, here, so I will make it a little bit bigger. So we have extracted roughly 95 positions. So when you have somebody like a chief procurement officer, you will receive the top 10 for a CPO. And the one for an executive vice president is already, or for the head of procurement is already different. So what do you receive? So first, you are going to do an assessment of complex problem solving. Take it like this. You have 7 to 12 questions, and dependent on the result, you receive, in this case, videos, text, podcasts on, if you have a high level of problem solving, this is above 80%. If you have a medium level, which is between 50 and 80, or a low level when you have it under 50%. So you receive your own learning journey on each of this top 10. So, and this is something we have for a lot of positions, like here, like HR, procurement, like marketing and sales. So we always put, so 5.0 was the highest value, and then on number 10 is 4.5. So it is a range of these skills which we found out by a lot of surveys, which of them are most relevant. So we have developed a new competency model for HR, for finance, for procurement, because our database, our sample were only international global companies. And this is something beneficial. So it goes more. Then we have here the lead yourself, like you have seen, leading others. So everybody gets his or her learning journey. We even did it for consulting. So what do consultants need? We are still collecting data now for supply chain a little bit. So here it is blank, but we still collect more. And for logistics, we collect more, for research and development, for IT. So there we have a little bit less, but for the normal business functions, the broader, we have enough data. So how does it work in the next step? So the first step was, like I said to you, you have a top 10, you tell me which top 10 you need, or for your company or for your colleagues, and then you receive the list. Always 7 to 12 questions, which you do in the first week. In the first week, you do your homework, you do individual learning, you do the test, and you do the readings. There are sometimes 4 or 5 texts. Everything is practitioner oriented. These are not journal articles or highly. Okay, this is the first thing. When you did this 4 to 5 text, the videos, so you always get a text and a review question, a text and a review question. And this you must answer 50 to 200 letters. So this is important. Then when you did this individual learning, then you come into a room where you need to solve some kind of case studies, where you are connecting with people from all over the world. So we are a network of global business schools, and there are people from Lagos inside, or people from Germany inside, people from Brazil inside, and all of these people are inside. So for example, let's go back. I will explain it to you again. So the point is that when you take this position, global HR business partner, top right. So you are doing cognitive flexibility. You're doing the assessment. You are doing the 4 or 5 texts. You are doing the videos. Always the people need to answer. When you're not answering it, you will not come into this interaction room. So in the first week, it would be good to do your homework. In the second week, it is that you collaborate or work together with other people which also have cognitive flexibility to work on. And in the third week, you have motivating and engaging skills. So this learning journey of the top 10 needs 20 weeks. And after 20 weeks follows the reassessment. So after 20 weeks, we look if you have improved. So because it's critical to interact with others. And what are we also doing? We are doing each Thursday, starting in January, with different business schools worldwide, that we have each Thursday a live session. And the live session is about important skills, like how to negotiate in different cultures, how to build trust in different cultures. So what about diplomacy? How is the understanding of diplomacy in different cultures? So everything is related on competency development. So we will talk about 30 minutes about what is by theory and then how you can apply it. So, and this is something which we offer you. So like you have seen, you have 20 weeks. So we have 2 or 3 weeks longer if you need more time in order to do this top 10. You do the reassessment, and you also have each Thursday from a different university in the world. We are acquiring more partners. Also, you will get a lesson which you can even look at later. No, it's also possible on demand. So you will receive, when you have a top 10, you will receive each 2 weeks a new email that please do the next assessment. Please do it fast. Please answer it. And in the interaction room, we also trigger you. Please collaborate with your people. Please solve this part. So we maximum have 5 people in a group. So when there's cognitive flexibility, there are maximum 5 people in a group in order to collaborate. They know each other because they will receive the emails from the others. They will see the others, but they need to solve the issues on these different parts. And then after this 6 months comes the reassessment, and we can even do it on a 360-degree feedback. What else do we have? We have within the 6 months period 3 individual coaching sessions. So 3 individual coaching sessions for each person. People have a question mark. Oh, now I have 65%. Is it good or is it not good? So, and this is something where we also give direction. So this is where the coaches look at what did you answer in all of these parts of individual learnings. So this is included into this 6 months learning journey or transformational learning journey. So the benefits are that there are different people from all over the world. It is international business. And the benefits are, in this case, that we also do the reassessment, or that you have the coachings. When you say, for me, the 3 coachings are not enough, I would like to make a group coaching, then we also have a group coaching approach where people meet each once a week, or each or in 15 or in 14 days, each 14 days in 2 weeks circles, where it is important, where people talk about their experiences. Like, okay, I have a German boss and sometimes rude and very giving direct feedback. I'm not used to it because in my country it's not so offensive. And then they will meet other people there, and then they talk about their international journey. They talk about different competencies which might be relevant. I mean, you have seen some of those top 10 in HR. So we would put HR people together, procurement people together, supply chain, and this also for a couple of months, because this makes sense in order to change the mindset. The mindset doesn't change overnight. The mindset change by interaction. And what we are going to do is we give you interaction by different participants in order that you solve different cases together, and that you are going to reflect yourself, that you're going to articulate your own mindset, because within those weeks, you will get to know that different participants in the groups think differently, and then you're getting more aware of how you think. So this is the approach of different business functions, and where everybody gets an individualized learning journey, and perhaps in order to show it in this very short chart. So we have the CAIR approach: competency assessment, awareness, and improvement. So people get aware, okay, I could improve, I have material to improve, practitioner oriented, and you can even evaluate the learning material. You can say, okay, like you're going into a restaurant and say, oh, okay, so this has 4 stars or 4.3. I'm going to this because people evaluate this as good. So we are trying only to have good material in the platform. And when people said, no, this is crap, this is 2.6, 2.7, we throw it out, but we are continuously putting more content inside. So the third part is interaction and giving feedback also to the participants. This is even also by coaching sessions. And the reflection is at the end, that people say, okay, what did I do 6 months ago? How did I improve? And this is something. So at the end of this 6 months, we have a couple of universities which can give you a certificate. So, and we have some of the top universities inside the program. So, I mean, you know it from LinkedIn. Each day there is a person giving you a certificate of INSEAD or Wharton or Harvard or Stanford. I mean, our schools are always within the top 3 of their countries. And we are trying to get as much as we can from each country, one partner school. So because this is international business, this is our idea of to connect executives. So we are talking now about executives. So, and currently we have 370 people inside the platform. They are doing each week, each second week, they are getting a new competency. And what we also can provide you is a slot till the end of the year where you said, okay, I would like to test it for myself. Then you need to write me an email. And then we need to look at what do you need? Do you need, for example, like I have shown it to you, this, so we always give them numbers, like here, I would like to get PR5 because I'm purchaser and I would like to get my own learning journey on this position. So it is, you will receive roughly 4 to 5 because then the system will close. But I think it is that you can see how it worked, and perhaps it might be relevant for your company or for your team in order to establish that. Yeah, so let me know about what you think about the approach. I mean, we also have here Neil Goodman. I've read some of your papers also. I mean, I know you a little bit. I mean, we never met, but I know your name from the literature, and perhaps I think you are at DDI World, or I don't know, but perhaps you can also give some feedback on the theoretical part, perhaps, but also on what do you think about the learning experience, and what is your feedback? Yeah. So, yes, okay, now I cannot listen to you.
Hey, Jörg, it's Neil Goodman.
Hello.
I've been listening very intently. I have a lot of noise in the background today, so that's why I'm keeping on mute. But I'm going to look at it, and I know seems like you're recording it as well, since there's a lot of information. I'd like to review it as well. But I mean, clearly this is one of the top competencies needed by organizations. And I'm very happy to see that it's being incorporated into many universities. That's a wonderful step forward.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, also for master and bachelor students, you can do it, but we are focusing now only on executives, no? In order to check, and the different schools are bringing in students, but everybody can join, and one of those schools can even give you a very valuable certificate, which is also relevant for a lot of people, and not just saying, okay, I did something, but nobody can see it, or we don't have a quality. So the quality signal is also, otherwise the universities wouldn't participate. Yeah, what about the others? Paulo, what do you think now? I mean, you have heard a little bit about it, but how do you reflect on it?
I like it too much about the opportunity. Thank you very much for inviting me. And I have worked only in Brazil as an executive, and my profile could not match for the global position, any global position. I worked at Japan as operator, machine operator, 25 years ago. But
Yeah.
thank you very much for the opportunity. I think that it's very worth for the executives that want to have a global position.
I mean, the database itself, or the sample, it was not only from German companies. No? It was from companies all over the world. I mean, you can see that I have a lot of not followers, but a lot of contacts at LinkedIn, and this makes it very, very good to receive something like that. I mean, the criticism is that sometimes you have companies where there is a global HR business partner, and in some others you have a similar position but with a different title. So I mean, this is something where there is criticism, no? Because the position or the names are sometimes not the same. Or if you compare a global HR business partner from Siemens or from a mid-sized company or a smaller company, so this could even be different. This is clear that there is some kind of critique. On the other side, I mean, we checked at, because there are a lot of lists of a lot of competencies. Now, there are even in the literature lists of 200 competencies. I mean, perhaps Neil Goodman knows it from Alan Bird or Mark Mendenhall or Joyce Osland. They give a lot of lists, but they don't show you which of them are relevant in different business functions and why you need them, and why you need them with a higher value or higher level. Now, so marketing and sales people normally need a higher level in global mindset. This we also know 20, 30 years ago. But what about finance people? What about people in logistics? Because some of these industries or even business functions are getting more global. Now, I mean, and this is something which we need to look at. Yeah, perhaps Gabriel Burkhardt, you are sitting also in Brazil.
Oh yes, information for contest only. I am process engineer in Brazil in an automotive industry.
Yeah.
And I am growing personal development, focusing on people and operation management. Okay. I have no question. Just thank you for the explanations and approach to the subject. Thanks for sharing your experience with us. Okay.
Yeah, if you want, I mean, I'm telling you, if you want to test it, no, you can test it for free till 31st of December. No, you can write me an email. You can tell me I want this position because this is something I have, or this is the next position I would like to get in 2 or 3 years. I would like to start it. So this is something which I can offer you all here in this room in order to look at about how is the material, how is the interaction with other participants. So because you also need to, I mean, this is a way of learning virtually, but I also would like to tell you about this famous schools where also some really good professors will give you a lesson on different of this competence. Yeah, Sylvia Langroth is a German name or not?
Oops. Hi,
Hi.
very German.
Okay.
Actually, from Czech and Poland.
Okay.
But it's, well, it was very interesting listening to the different profiles for the people, different mindsets that we have to the global positions that is different of working in a local position in a global company. So I'll have a look at the material and at the slide deck that you share with us, because I couldn't be in the beginning of the meeting. And well, let's see if I'll test or not. I'll check. What
but you also need to speak English at your work or not?
Yes, at this moment I'm off work, but in my last position it was just Spanish, because it was a Latin American company. But usually in my previous positions I had to speak English and Spanish and Portuguese all the time. It was really global, working in global positions, regional positions, and this kind of things.
But now you're looking for a new job in an international company or not?
Probably so. I prefer international companies because the world gets bigger and the opportunities get to be more interesting. One thing that I always say is that when you speak more than one language, your possibilities, the globe becomes wider. So it's always more interesting, and you have to get to know people's culture differences and similarities and everything. So it's not only about getting to know your job, but your job in different horizons.
Yeah, I think you're right. No? I mean, you get to know different people. On the other side, like I said, international business is people business. So sometimes we cannot say this guy is typically American, also US citizen, or this guy is typically German, because like you also mentioned, you have different experiences, work experiences by language. Sometimes we even think differently by using different languages.
Yep. No, and I had to change the kind of accent I did when speaking to someone in Peru or in Chile. I had to change words in the language. So you become fluent not only in Spanish, for instance, but you become fluent in Peruvian Spanish or in Chilean Spanish or in Mexican Spanish. Or when you write to when you are in an English company, you have to write in a certain way that is different from the American way. So you have to be very attentive to the differences, not to be unpolite to nobody, and to make sure you fit.
No, that's right. I mean, this is also the point. I mean, we did not talk so much about global leadership itself, but when you have this position. Okay, yeah, thank you, Neil. So you need to go there now. Okay, so but for example, about so what is an effective global leader, for example? So I mean, most of you know, perhaps also so Champions League and also this coaches, this técnico, you would say in Brazil, in Portuguese, and the point is that also the leader or the global leader needs to adapt his leadership style or her leadership style to different followers. So I mean, you must see that in this Champions League, sometimes you have players from Spain, from Brazil, from Germany, from France, and sometimes people are different, no? Or they perceive the leading style differently. No? And also to motivate is also different in different cultures. No? So yeah, well, okay, now I can see your picture, Josef. So what is your feedback on this session?
Yeah, well, in terms of content, that's very enriching, and being myself, having worked in different countries, more than 7 different countries, even though it was within the same global company, Schneider Electric,
okay.
But still, I would say global mindset, developing a global mindset is a continuous journey. Yeah. You can never say that I have now a global mindset, because it's really a continuous learning journey. And I was an international assignee for different countries, and I was moving around the world every 3 to 5 years. And every time when I landed in a country, I landed with the luggage, and I doubled it while leaving the country. So you can imagine how heavy it became at the end, but nicely heavy. I will just capitalize on what Sylvia was mentioning, and this will be my feedback on the session. It's that it's focused on the hard part, which is the foundation, but there is, as you were just mentioning, Jörg, now, the soft part, which is a big challenge in terms of adapting the behavior, understanding and adapting the behavior, adapting the cultural mindset, the openness. We can't change ourselves. And that's, I think, the mistake that many of us do, is that we try to change ourselves or change the others, rather than being really open and understanding to the context of every country or every culture or situation. And even within the same company, even though I was moving from different countries, and I also changed function from finance to the HR, yeah. And I was the first one maybe in the whole organization of more than 150,000 employees to take the step of moving from finance to the HR, but it opened the doors to other people, to other colleagues, to think, oh, why not? And we should not limit ourselves. And I do believe that my experience in different countries was a trigger to open my mind also to other functions, and not only limit myself on the scope of my work. And one thing that we used to, and many international companies, they do the same, it's really to think global and act local. And I think that's the leitmotiv. When it comes to your program, I need to look at it more in details. Of course, in one session, it's not enough to take the decision, but I think the foundations are solid, and really thank you for making me part of this.
Yeah, thank you very much for your feedback, Josef. No? So the point is that we believe that this individualized learning journey is sometimes more beneficial. Because when you get this one-size-fits-all approach and you put all people together, some people would say, hey, I already have lived in 3 countries, and you're giving me a cross-cultural differences class. I know a lot of these issues. So we start with that, what people need, and in order to look at how can they improve for their next steps. I mean, we can even start with 360-degree in the beginning, because sometimes, I mean, when you're doing a self-assessment, some people said, hey, I want to get the next job, and now I'm telling the others I'm better than I am. Now, I mean, this is also criticism with self-assessment. We know it. It could even be a cultural effect, perhaps, that people from United States would say, I'm better than I am. Or Germans say, I'm more worse, because people are a little bit more humble sometimes, no? But this is also a part of character or personality. No?
Right.
So this is the point.
But yeah, I think it's really a lifelong journey to develop the global mindset. But what you are showing or offering, it's really pointing the fingers on the foundations. And I think that's really key, because it's easy, as you said, for me, for example, to think, oh, I lived in 7 countries, that then I'm done, and I have a global mindset. I just moved to Canada, for example, and it's a new experience to me. I am mixing with different cultures, and still it's a new learning journey for me. So I think we can, personally, I feel I can never say that I have 100% global mindset, because it's really a long, it's a continuous learning, and you are putting the foundations, which is key.
Yeah, that's right. It is always a learning journey. I mean, there was even one publication in the last months that there were some French people having global positions, sales positions, and they even decreased their global mindset. It was going reverse. And then they said, hey, I don't like all the conflicts permanently. And this was also that normally people think, okay, you can always get more. But like you said, you might have different global positions or international positions, but sometimes you have more interactions. Sometimes you have a special position that you said, okay, but in HR, I need to handle different issues than in finance, because in finance, some parts are more standardized, and in HR, I need to look at local law. So there are, like you said, you always have a continuum in HR, standardization, local adaptation. Are we going to do the training globally, standardized, or are we going to do it only in this language? And what about motivation? Some people said, the Germans would say, okay, I would like to get more holidays. It's more important to get more money because I'm always working enough. Some other people would say, no, pay me more money. This is more relevant than having free time. I mean, and this is the tricky thing, that there is not the golden rule. And like you said, sometimes you have people in finance with this more perhaps local mindset, or this, sometimes it's called ethnocentric mindset, and some other positions you have more open-minded, like you said, the openness. So what would you say, by your experiences, was your global mindset getting always increasing or even decreasing when you switched from HR to finance, or you switched from finance to HR?
From finance to HR, yeah. Well, from finance to HR, I would definitely say that it was increasing.
Yeah.
But the curve was not exponential. So like I felt that I had a huge like aha moment where I was like really squeezing my brain to open my mind more and more and more and be more understanding of local aspects and so on. But then there was a stagnation.
Yeah.
There was a stagnation, and mainly it's, I mean, it's easy to put it on external context, but it's really because we were moving toward more standardization, as you were saying.
Okay.
And at a certain time, we needed to find the right balance between local resistance and the global approach.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
I mean,
at a certain time, it was even, I would say, benefic. And I know that my former bosses would not like hearing me saying that, but it was benefic to close my mind at a certain time, just to keep things moving and then reopen.
But I have only one more question, because I believe perhaps I know the answer what you are telling, but I mean, perhaps you also have heard of this personality traits, the ocean.
Yes, exactly.
And the O is openness to experience. Yeah. Would you say that your openness level has changed according to 15 or 20 years ago?
Definitely.
So we can change our personality, because some people said, okay, you have your personality and you cannot do anything. I mean, there are some things by like a growth mindset. You're getting more experience, you're making failures.
Yes.
This is how you grow. But openness to experience is very important to measure with people going abroad.
Yes.
So you have some others, conscientiousness, you have agreeableness, and two others. But I think openness to experience is one of the most relevant to look at or to test if people are willing to go abroad. And this is sometimes we can take it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah.
Are you also taking assessments in your company? So like here, like I said, okay, we have competency assessments or assessment tests. So how are you preparing people to go abroad?
Well, first it starts by, well, now I'm not, I'm on basically on a career break.
Yeah.
Because I just moved to Canada and so on.
Yeah.
But in my previous company, it starts by an open discussion first with the employee or the candidate to international mobility, and it's always triggered by the employee themselves. So it starts by expressing a wish, and
so
then
self-initiated expatriation.
Exactly. And then it's assessing what is behind this wish or what is behind this initiation, because sometimes it's purely, and I personally faced that with some of my team members, which was personally to escape a situation or a context, but not for the desire to develop an international experience. So it was rather the desire to move out of a current context rather than that. And I was always the first one to recommend that then this is not the right time to move. It's what is also the...
But are there some kind of questionnaire assessments or just face-to-face talk about what is the motivation?
It was starting by face-to-face, but then it was a 360-degree assessment evaluation that was always the first, I would say, formal assessment. Is really to understand, because it's not only what the person think of themselves, but also what their surrounding is thinking about their openness, and it's not really about openness, it's about willing to be more open.
Yeah.
It's more about the will than the current status. And then there was we would always organize before finalizing the transaction, we would always organize what we call an exploration trip, which is where the person go and visit.
Yeah, look and feel trip, no?
Exactly, look and feel trip, but that was not only to get the feedback of the employee, but also of the local team there.
Yeah.
We would ask. We call them the expatriate buddies. We would ask some employees in the host country to go with the person, invite them even outside the office, spend time with them outside and so on, and observe their reaction, their question. And one thing that you mentioned, and I think it's key, and you were right to highlight it, is the curiosity. Because what we see many times, I don't want to highlight a specific, but it's just to give an example. When we send a group of French expatriates, for example, they stay between themselves.
Yeah.
And then they are missing the whole international and global mindset experience and development. So what's the point of living abroad if you are trying to bring your country with you and your culture with you, rather than being open to the local culture? So we were really observing that, and I had personally cases where people went abroad and all what they were interested to do in their exploration or feel and look trip, as you said, it was to look for communities from their country, from restaurants or food from their country and so on, which is good enough, but this is not the mindset. So that was also a sign for us that the person is maybe not 100% ready for that.
Yeah. So only one last question. So the point is that you have work experience in different countries, and you also
Right.
mentioned something before, like adapting the behavior.
Yeah.
So, but where was it most difficult to adapt your leadership style, and why? Perhaps it's completely the opposite of how you are normally are, or I don't know, perhaps you have one example, because perhaps
exactly.
Youssef might be more effective in Canada than sending him to Bolivia because of his personality and of adapting his behavior on different leadership issues.
I would say when I moved, I would say actually I had to adapt my leadership style in every country, but
yes,
if I have to select one that was the most prominent, it was when I was assigned as a regional CFO in Lebanon for East Mediterranean region. So it was a challenge because I was based in Lebanon and I was managing the financial function and IT function for 5 countries, East Mediterranean countries. And what I had to adapt, I'm originally from Morocco, where we don't socialize a lot at work. And even though I've been living in France, Spain, and so on, but in Lebanon, it's also just my tone. Like if I come on Monday morning, just to give you a concrete example, that's very simple, but it meant a lot. On Monday morning, I just say, hi, how are you? I'm fine. And I go to my office. And after 2 weeks of my assignment, my HR colleagues came and she said, I heard I got some feedback from your team. They feel a bit frustrated and that you are too distant. And I said, really? I feel that I have a good relationship with you. And she said, no, for example, when you come on Monday, you don't ask them how they spent the weekend, which for them was very important. And it was like their weekend of the office. So it's not something that or even when they ask me, how was your weekend? I would just reply, well, it was good. Thank you. And that's
not into detail.
But they want details.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. The other thing is that always, for example, in Lebanon, they would use the word "my dear," like with every sentence, even in work environment, while I would never use it. So as I think if you are my colleague, I would just say, York, would you mind doing that? I would not say, my dear York, would you do that? And that was perceived as being rude.
But you are originally from Morocco, or where?
Yes, from Morocco.
So the plate in the background is from Morocco.
Exactly, but I left Morocco 25 years ago, and I've been.
I have something similar in my kitchen. It is from Tunisia.
Okay.
From Tunis, yeah, it's also with paint. I have 3 of them in my kitchen here.
Nice,
and I will take it
nice.
to Brazil when I move there next November, and perhaps I will take it to Mexico when I'm going to have a professorship in January in Mexico.
Excellent.
Like you said, the luggages are getting more heavy. My wife takes three suitcases, and let's see how many I need to take. But yeah, thank you very much for this session.
Thank you. And
we can stay in contact. No, I'm very happy that you are here, that you're providing your experiences, and in order to talk about the concepts which I have perhaps developed, not only theoretical, but I ask a lot of people, but sometimes it's good to have direct experience of people like you in order to say this makes sense and this is what you actually need.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.